On page 58 of your teacher's book, you'll see the craft you'll be doing this week. For this craft, you'll need to have string and different colored beads ready for the children to use. There is also an optional take-home item where you can give seeds out for your students to plant. Remember to invite all the parents, family members, and friends to the OJT you've been planning this semester.
Okay, our team time activity today is here. It's page 27. Open it up, page 27. It lists our 5 ways of growing in Jesus. They're all written for us so we don't forget them. Turn over the page and you will find this activity. Circle things you need to do to grow physically, so to grow up in your body and become bigger, and underline the things you need to grow spiritually. So what are you circling? Grow physically, and underlining grow spiritually. Because we grow physically by eating food. So we'd circle that one. And we grow in Jesus by sharing the gospel. So we'd underline that one. Does that make sense, children? Yes. Then in your team time, you can look at that prayer at the bottom. Pray that together. Ask Jesus to help you to grow. Now you also have here on page 29 and the next page, you have the gospel all written out for you as a help so that you can share the gospel with others, so you can be a witness. Okay, so it's all there. Have you noticed that they're there in colours? Yes. Our activity today is to use those colours to make a bracelet or an anklet or a necklace. Okay? And we're going to use these colours and they're going to remind us of the gospel. So we need to look at these colours and work out what do the colours mean. What was the first part of our path? Heaven. Now we learnt about heaven that it's described as having streets made of gold. What colour is this? It's the closest colour we have to gold, isn't it? So we remember that heaven is a free gift. And so if someone goes, hey, look at your bracelet, why you've got the colours? You can go, well, I learnt some good news. Can I share it with you? But first, can I ask you 2 questions? And then you talk about heaven. Why do I have a dark bead here? Sin. Sin is not a good thing and it makes us imperfect. Okay? So we have dark to remind us of that. Okay? And the next one, what comes after sin? God, who is perfect. If you have white clothes and they are perfect, they're only perfect before you wear them, right? Because you'll go play in the playground and they'll get dirty and they'll get darker. But God is perfect and white reminds us of being perfect. What does the red have to do with Jesus? Because Jesus comes next. His blood, when he died, he bled. Okay? It wasn't a happy death. Okay? So we remember the red is all about Jesus. So we can tell them Jesus is God. He came from heaven to earth. Okay? Now, we talked about faith, and I have a blue bead next. How is faith going to be like blue? There are 2 ways that blue can remind you about faith. One is bubbles. Bubbles normally, they have a range of colours on them, but you think of bubbles and you think of water, don't you? Yes? You also think of blue and you think of water, and we have a story that was all about water. We went on a boat out to sea. Okay, so that's how you'll remember to talk about faith next. And the last one was to respond. And if they respond positive, they will grow in Jesus. And green is for things that grow. Okay? But don't miss the response part. They want to respond, and if they start to respond, then they're starting to grow in Jesus. Does that make sense, children? So when you wear this, if they ask you, what do the colours mean? You can share the whole gospel by just remembering these 6 colours. Okay, so we will do an activity that reminds you of that, and all those words are in the right colours on that page that I showed you here, if you forget. Okay? Now, I would like you to do one other thing here. We had a survey that you did at the start. I want you to do it again and see if you've grown in what you've known about God. Okay? So we're going to ask you to do that again and to hand that in to your Teen Time teachers. You're going to take your last Pathway to Hope book. Okay, number 10 should go out today. And remember, we're inviting our friends to come to our OJT, to our picnic at the park. And we can share with them there. So all these 10 friends who you've given your books to, remember to invite them, and that will be part of you learning to witness and growing in Jesus that way. Shut your books for me. Guess what? You have finished Hope for Kids. And while that's sad, that's also exciting. So we have a certificate for you here, and your Teen Time teachers are going to write down their names there, and you will see we've already asked our pastor to sign it, to say that you are good at this. Okay, you know how to share the gospel. So we're going to give this to you, and you take the whole book home, and you can show your mum and dad what you've been learning, and your aunties and uncles, and share Jesus with them too. Is that good, kids? Yes. Yeah, sounds like fun. Teachers, you might like to do this in front of the whole church, to give them the certificate on the back of their book and to re-hand it to them with the pastor there shaking their hands. Wouldn't that be a blessing to them and to the whole church to go, these kids know how to share about Jesus. I don't. I need to learn. Yeah?